But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal.
As we move closer to the election day for the 2024 presidency, things are spicing up in a unique way. I have mentioned that much before, but I'm going to take a second to talk about the topic of Trump and his charges. As we know, a little while ago, he was founded on 34 felony counts found in New York State. So one of the major talking points by the left is that you are supporting a felon. How could you vote for a felon? Conservatives don't care about the country. All they care about is their leader, who is a felon. Felon this, felon that. On one of my previous videos, some individual actually commented in the comments section about this to me, which is weird and projection on their part. Yeah, I know, I probably shouldn't be reading the comments section anyway. But nevertheless, I actually never explicitly supported Donald Trump or verbalized that I was a Republican of some sort in that previous video. But the person accused me of these things. Well, nevertheless, I do understand and know that when it comes to people, if you defend something or acknowledge something, it automatically means that you support it. People don't associate that you bring forth the facts of something means that you're being objective. To them, it means that you are being supportive of that said thing. So, this is obviously a character flaw that most individuals have as human beings. So, if I say Corvettes are faster than Toyota Corollas, this obviously means that I love Corvettes and I hate Toyotas, right? Wrong. Nevertheless, Trump was found guilty on these charges. What we do know is that these charges are actually classified as misdemeanors in reality, but they were charged to Trump as federal-based felonies through a state court, which also isn't typically possible. When you try to find more information on how these misdemeanors were charged as felonies, there also isn't any transparent information on how this is possible. So this is why most American people see this as more of a political tool that the current administration is using as an injustice against Trump, rather than some fair and impartial charges brought against Trump. I don't think anybody ever in history has been found guilty of business fraud by getting an approved loan from a bank in which they paid the loan back plus interest, and this is fraud. Many Americans and business law professionals don't think or find this as something that makes any sense as well. But again, nevertheless, if you're a left-leaning person, you're going to use this to your advantage when engaging in an argument with someone. You're going to use this as a tool to name call and to use pejoratives to put down Trump or the other person, especially if you're a person who has tremendous hatred for Trump, which we know is evident amongst left-leaning people. But let's look at this video of Trump being questioned about whether or not he would pardon Joe Biden's son, who has been legally charged with felony. specifically gun charges. And then he goes on to talk about Hillary Clinton and what she did illegally throughout her time in the White House.
President Biden has vowed not to pardon his son Hunter, who is now a convicted felon and faces more felony charges in his upcoming trial for alleged tax evasion. Would you consider granting clemency or pardon?
I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about it. I think it's a tragic story. You want to know the truth. And I felt that with Hillary Clinton, too. You know, with Hillary Clinton, I could have done things to her that would have made your head spin. I thought it was a very bad thing. Take the wife of a president of the United States and put her in jail. And then I see the way they treat me. That's the way it goes. But I was very protective of her. Nobody would understand that, but I was. I think my people understand it. They used to say, lock her up, and I'd say, just relax, please. We won the election. I think it would be I think it would have been horrible for our country and we had her between the hammering of all of the files. And don't forget, she got a subpoena from the United States Congress. And then after getting the subpoena, she destroyed everything that she was supposed to get. I thought it was so bad to take her and put her in jail, the wife of a president of the United States, and then when it's my turn, nobody thinks that way. I thought it was a very terrible thing. And she did a lot of very bad things. I'll tell you what, she was pretty evil. But in terms of the country and in terms of unifying the country, bringing it back, to have taken her and to have put her in jail, and I think you know the things as well as I do. There were some pretty bad acts that she did.
So, as you can see, Trump really didn't want to answer the question of pardoning Joe Biden's son. He felt that it wasn't really appropriate, but proceeds to go on by saying that he could have easily put Hillary Clinton in jail if he wanted to. All of these individuals are trying to make claims, negativity-wise, about him and what he has done, but it's obvious that they, meaning Hillary, Bill, and Joe, could have easily been put in jail for more legitimate crimes and reasons. There was a moment in the debate where Joe Biden tried to attack Trump for this very same thing. But of course, it backfired on him tremendously. Let's take a look at that clip so we can really see that moment again.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted.
After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump.
And as we see, Trump does not hold back in expressing the obvious truth. The obvious truth is what many professionals have said, which is basically, if we all want to, we can use the law against all of us during our time as president. And since you and your administration want to use your power on many different levels to come after Trump, me and my family, and my life, guess what? The same thing could be done to you after your presidency, where another administration can come after you in your life. How about when you're done as president, the government just starts indicting you on charges and try to put you in jail? Obviously, as we know, this would be insane. That's why the charges against Trump are insane. And it's a vicious cycle that would not be good for the country if this is perpetuated. If all political opponents go against each other after every single election, and it wouldn't be good. So that's why the Supreme Court justices rule that immunity is necessary for presidents. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown reaction. And again, I have some really cool, amazing, and great videos coming up soon. I hope that you like this video. Check out my podcast and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Of course, I'm Mr. Rembrandt, and this is Mr. Rembrandt. See you on the next video.